It sounded like good news for the embattled auto industry. A $13.4 billion loan for General Motors, courtesy of the Bush administration. Except now, 3 weeks after the paperwork got signed, the loan is starting to look like a noose for the auto workers. Not only are the workers required to accept lower wages, but they are forbidden to strike. I don't remember debating that. If they do strike, the government can call in the loan, bankrupting GM and leaving hundreds, thousands, lots of people out of work. Combine that with the latest assessment on the $350 billion that the Bush administration already used to bail out Wall Street. And with 10 days left in the Bush presidency, it is time for the Rachel Maddow Show's Lame Duck Watch, because somebody's got to do it. Back on December 10th, we had the head of the congressional panel charged with overseeing the Troubled Asset Relief Program, Elizabeth Warren, here on the show. She shared with us the basic questions that she was having to ask about that $700 billion bailout. Questions like, what's it for? Is it working? And what would working mean? Well, a month ago, the Treasury Department could not answer those questions. Today, still can't answer those questions. The Oversight Committee finding that the Treasury Department has no requirements for companies to report how they are spending taxpayer dollars, nor a clear plan to restore lending to consumers, nor a good answer on its refusal to spend money to prevent foreclosures. And yet that $350 billion has gone somewhere. We have asked it before. We will ask it again. Are we being punked here? Is this TARP bailout just a massive corporate giveaway with no real benefit to the regular Americans who are paying for it? Joining us now is David Cay Johnston, who's the Pulitzer Prize-winning former New York Times reporter, who's also the author of Free Lunch, How the Wealthiest Americans Enrich Themselves at Government Expense and Stick You with the Bill. David, it's nice to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So the Oversight Committee report essentially says that we still don't know what the $700 billion bailout plan is for. What's it for?
Well, that's been one of the problems with it from the very beginning. They've shifted gears repeatedly about this, but what reality we know now is this. It's been to bail out people who did business with Goldman Sachs, like AIG. It's been to provide liquidity to banks and capital banks who then used it to buy other banks and concentrate the amount of banking we have in this country. We have a problem with these banks that are too big to fail. We've made them even bigger. And today we get the news that JP Morgan and Citibank, two of the three biggest banks in the country, are going to have a joint venture in their brokerage. This is about eliminating competition, which allows you to raise prices over time and not engage in market capitalism, but corporate socialism.
If we were going to spend $700 billion to help America endure the financial crisis that we're in right now, can you think of a better way to have spent it?
Oh, lots of things. First of all, we could have bought all the subprime mortgages in the country and still had $200 billion left over. And they're not all going to fail.
Yeah.
The problem we have is the bottom 90% of Americans' incomes today are smaller than they were in 2000 and smaller than they were way back in 1973. We've had 28 years of supply-side economics. We need demand-side economics. The top 1/10 of 1% of Americans, top 1/10 of 1%, 300,000 people, have virtually the same income as the bottom half. 300,000, 150 million, same number of dollars. And that's the core of our problem. We could increase unemployment benefits overnight by a third and restore unemployment benefits for people who've exhausted theirs. A lot of people who aren't in the job market right now because there are no jobs to find, so that the real unemployment rate is not the 7.2% official rate announced today, but 13% when you count people who can't find work and people who are forced into part-time work involuntarily.
So you're saying that if you think about this from a demand-side perspective, you instead funnel the most money to the people who most need it, who will therefore spend it most quickly, therefore giving you sort of more leverage, more of a multiplier effect by spending on something like unemployment benefits.
Correct. And Congress also said this money was supposed to deal with foreclosures. That hasn't done anything to deal with the foreclosures on people, because a lot of people bought these bad loans because they were snookered into them. Some people gamed the system without question, but a lot of people didn't understand what they were buying into. Very clear that from reading the report today that virtually nothing has been done. There's nothing in that report indicating anything of substance to deal with the foreclosure problem that is affecting everybody's housing prices.
maybe the good news that we got today is that Obama's nominee for Treasury Secretary in preparation for his confirmation hearings is burning the midnight oil, working around the clock to come up with a new strategy for the rest of that money that they've already agreed to spend. David Cay Johnston, author of Free Lunch. It is so nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.